Hello everyone, welcome back to IMS BBA YouTube channel. In this video, we will be looking at what you need to do in the next 30 days so that you can ace IPMAT Rohtak. IPMAT Rohtak is one of the most important exams in your entire season. So let us see the correct steps for your next 30 days so that you can go and ace this particular test. In this video, we will be discussing the paper pattern. We will also be looking at the cutoffs for the last 4 years so that you can set your targets accordingly whenever you are writing your SEM IPMAT Rohtak mocks. Then we will also look at the strategy to ace this particular test, the preparation plan for all the 3 sections, and the most important thing in the video, we will be discussing a robust 30-day plan so that you can ace the test. Now, starting with the paper pattern. Since the inception of IPMAT Rohtak, the paper pattern has always been the same. You have 3 sections: quantitative ability, logical reasoning and verbal ability. In each of the sections you have 40 questions. The marking scheme is +4 for correct and -1 for wrong. Now, the total duration of the paper is 120 minutes. You must understand that for IPMAT Rohtak, you don't have a sectional time limit like you have in IPMAT Indore. So you need to decide how much time you want to spend on each and every section, and you have to move accordingly. Also, the order of the sections in IPMAT Rohtak is not fixed. There is also no sectional cutoff in IPMAT Rohtak. Now, speaking about cutoffs, coming to the last 4 years, we have a cutoff of 306 for general category in 2022, which went up to 409 marks in 2023. Then it came down to 301 in 2024, and last year in 2025 the cutoff again went up to 381. Clearly, there is a lot of trend happening with IPMAT Rohtak cutoffs. You cannot predict what will be the cutoff for a particular year. It goes up, suddenly it comes down, it again goes up, and hence it is extremely important that you set your targets, but always you attempt the paper to its particular merit. You can pause the video, take the screenshot of this particular cutoff so that you can set your targets accordingly. Now, talking about the strategy to ace this particular test. This is an exam of speed as well as accuracy. If you remember, in 2023, the cutoff went to 409 marks. Now, the entire paper is for 480. To secure 409 marks, you have to do minimum more than 104 attempts with a good accuracy to get that particular score. So in 120 minutes, when you have to do more than 100 questions, clearly you have to go with a lot of speed. But because there is negative marking, you also need to be accurate at the same time. In this particular paper, you need to focus on your strengths. Since there is no sectional cutoff, you can compensate by being weaker in one section by being stronger in other sections. So you must focus on your strengths. Hence, you should give enough mocks to identify your strengths. Once you know your strengths, you need to aim to score big in that particular section. Effective time management will be the key to success in this particular test. In IPMAT Indore, because there is a sectional time limit, you know that every section is 40 minutes, and accordingly you go through the paper and you're not worried too much about the time because it's not in your control. But in IPMAT Rohtak, there is no sectional time limit. So alongside going through the paper with a lot of speed, at the same time being concerned about your accuracy, you also need to keep a track of your time. Let us say you start with quant section. You cannot spend 60 or 65 minutes in quant section, which is almost 50% of your entire paper in terms of time limit, and then aim to still ace the test. You need to be extremely mindful how much time you are spending in each and every section, also how much time you are giving to the sections which are your strength versus how much time you are leaving for the section which are your weaknesses, and again, is that the ideal time? So your time management is going to be the most fundamental thing if you want to ace the particular test. Ideal attempts is 100 plus with an overall accuracy of minimum 90%. That said, please remember this point. You need to adjust to the difficulty level of the paper and attempt the paper to its merit. In 2023, paper was really easy, and hence the cutoff went to 409 and you had to do more than 100 plus attempts. But if I look at 2024, the cutoff came down to 301 mark. Now when it was 301, it did not make sense to do 100 plus attempts because paper was difficult, and that's the reason the cutoff came down for everyone. Now if you have a difficult paper and if you still aim to do 100 plus attempts, your accuracy will definitely fall below 90% and you may miss out on the cutoff all in all. So just be careful about this. Normally for Rohtak, you should aim to get 100 plus overall attempts with 90% accuracy. But still, if you find a particular paper to be very difficult, you must adjust to the difficulty and attempt the paper to its own merit. Next, you must take minimum 7 SIM IPMAT Rohtak mocks and analyze them well. You have 10 mocks available. I would recommend and advise to do all 10 before you go for your paper, but minimum 7 must be taken. Now, coming to quant section. In Rohtak, for the last few years, we have always seen this, that arithmetic has been one of the most important sections. 18 to 24 questions have been asked across different years in quant section from arithmetic module, which is almost 50% of your quant section. Hence, you must prepare this well. The questions in arithmetic in this particular paper are actually very easy. Some of them are very direct, where they'll just give you the length of the train, they'll give you the speed of the train, and they may ask you the time taken for the train to pass a particular pole or a stationary man, which is a direct formula and you can answer, and you have quite few easy questions like this from arithmetic module in the paper. Then from modern math module, you can expect 6 to 12 questions. These questions are kind of tricky because you have probability and PNC being asked from modern math section, and hence you can expect the accuracy of 95% because of that tricky questions, and you cannot waste a lot of time in this particular paper when you have to make so many attempts. Numbers, you can expect 4 to 6 questions. Geometry, again 4 to 6 questions. When it comes to numbers, topics such as HCF, LCM, last digits are something which have been asked traditionally in IPMAT Rohtak. So you must practice those well, and again you must remember your shortcuts so that you can do those easy questions but with speed. Algebra is the least important module when it comes to IPMAT Rohtak, and you only get 2 to 3 again very easy questions from this particular module. Talking about LR, you don't have any data interpretation in IPMAT Rohtak. In LR, you will get arrangements and puzzles 12 to 14 questions, miscellaneous puzzles, clocks, calendars 13 to 15 questions, verbal reasoning 9 to 10 questions. So make sure that whenever you are practicing for logical reasoning, every day you are not just doing arrangements or clocks or calendars, but at the same time you are practicing your verbal reasoning. Coding, decoding, blood relations, you will get 5 to 6. Again, coding, decoding questions have been doable. If you have done enough practice using your IMS material as well as giving those benchmarking tests and mocks, you should be in a comfortable position to tackle the questions of coding, decoding. Again, if you look at this particular section, arrangements and puzzles, you can expect to have 100% accuracy. Coding, decoding, blood relations, again 100%. Verbal reasoning, because verbal has always been the subjective section, your accuracy may come down to 90%, but during your practice you need to ensure that somewhere you are trying to get more than 90% accuracy. Miscellaneous puzzles, clocks and calendars, some of the times in miscellaneous puzzles you get certain sequences or analogies which are quite difficult to crack in that time pressure, and hence your accuracy may come down for this particular questions. Coming to verbal, you have 13 questions almost on vocabulary. In vocabulary, again, it is impossible to know meaning of each and every word, but you need to practice your vocabulary well so that you can somewhere expect 90% accuracy out of these questions. Reading comprehension, you have 9 to 12 questions. Grammar, 8 to 10 questions. Sentence correction and sentence completion, 4 to 7 questions. 3 to 4 questions on para jumbles. Again, if you look at the topics here, reading comprehension, sentence correction, para jumbles, you have been doing this topic for your other entrances as well. So there is nothing new here. The only difference is in the question composition, where in other entrances you may not find so many questions on vocabulary what you do in IPMAT Rohtak. Now, coming to your 30-day plan, you can actually again pause the video, take a screenshot, and then you can take a printout of that particular screenshot so that you have this calendar in front of you in terms of your preparation, and you have a daily checklist available. So today 10th April when you're seeing this video. It is all about planning. You need to collect yourself, gather yourself, understand what will happen in this particular paper, what you need to study, where you lack, where you need to give more time than other students. You know yourself better. So today it's all about planning. Tomorrow, 11th April, you must give your first SIM IPMAT Rohtak mock. Now, why do you give this first mock without any preparation? Just to understand the paper pattern, how you are navigating through that 120 minutes, and what is your baseline score. Again, in your first mock, the score which you get is not important. You don't need to judge yourself based on that score. The accuracy which you get, again, is not something which you need to be concerned about in your first mock itself. But you must analyze it well so that you understand what were your strengths, what were your weaknesses, and accordingly you can create your plan for the future preparation. From 12th April to 18th April, you just need to follow the daily study plan. Now, what is the daily study plan? I'll come to it in the next 2 to 3 minutes. 19th April, you again give your same IPMAT Rohtak mock, followed by a daily study plan, and then you just keep on doing this, where every alternate day you're taking a mock and then you're doing a daily study plan. The day when you write the mock, remember your mock will be for 2 hours, 120 minutes. But on that particular day, you should spend minimum 4 to 5 hours analyzing that particular mock. Any test which you give, irrespective whether it's Rohtak or Indore or IPMAT, taking a mock is only 20% of your efforts. The remaining 80% of the efforts is in terms of doing your analysis and doing the correct analysis. I have seen so many students, when it comes to analysis, they just quickly go through the wrong questions where they don't even identify their mistakes but just see the right answer, see the video solution and move on. This is not the correct way to analyze. We have created a dedicated video on how to analyze a particular SIM test. You will find the link for that particular video in the description. Make sure to watch that entire video so that you can correctly analyze your each and every mock and you can see that improvement mock over mock. Now, from 2nd May, 3rd May and 4th May, the reason I am saying only daily study plan is because a lot of you will also be writing your IPMAT Indore on 4th May. And hence, taking any mock on 2nd or 3rd May will distract you, plus it will reduce your energy and it will decrease your efficiency for 4th May for that important Indore paper. Hence, 2nd, 3rd and 4th are only daily study plan. Again, if some of you are not writing Indore and you are only writing SIM IPMAT Rohtak, then you can utilize 2nd, 3rd, 4th May to give one of the mocks earlier. Now, 5th May, you will write your Rohtak mock. When you count the total mocks, till 5th May, you have taken total 9 mocks. Now, if you document each and every mistake and if you document your analysis, you can go into the retrospect analysis and see a pattern in your improvement or you can see a pattern in your mistakes. Accordingly, you can finalize your strategy which you will be using on the main day. Now, based on that strategy, you will give your final mock on 8th May. Based on this mock score, you can again find out whether your strategy was working out for you, it was not working out, if you still need to tweak and refine your strategy. Once you have done that part, on 9th May, one day before the paper, you should absolutely take 0 mocks. You should rest. If you want, you can revise your Cohen's formula. You can go through your list of vocabulary words so that you have them fresh in your mind. But that's it. Nothing more. One day before the paper, having that fresh mind is also important, and for that you must have enough rest one day before the paper. On 10th May, you have your test day. Be optimistic about 10th May. Trust your preparation, and again trust me when you have done so much and if you have followed this schedule to the T and you are doing every single mock and you are spending time on analysis and every day in between you are preparing and you are practicing more questions, you should be sorted to ace this particular test on 10th May. Now, coming to the daily study plan. Every day when you are not writing a particular SIM test, you need to do 30 questions daily from quantitative ability. From this 30 questions, you should do mainly 10 to 15 questions from arithmetic module, then again 4 to 5 questions from modern math, then 3 to 4 questions from each geometry and numbers, and 1 or 2 algebra questions based on the weightage of respective modules in IPMAT Rohtak. Just don't do one particular module on particular day. Verbal ability, you should do 2 reading comprehensions, 10 grammar questions, 5 parajumbles, 5 sentence. You should learn 20 new words. Like I said, vocabulary will be major questions in IPMAT Rohtak in the verbal section. So make sure that every single day you're learning 20 new words. Now, if you're doing 20 new words every day, in 30 days you will have a list of 600 unique words, and there are higher chances that out of the 600 words, few of the words may be coming in your paper. Now, in this particular practice, make sure it is a timed practice. So if you are doing 2 reading comprehensions by taking 30 minutes, even if you have 100% accuracy, it will not help your case. You need to ensure that the 2 RCs which you are doing, you are keeping a timer of maximum 8 to 10 minutes, and then you are working on your accuracy. Logical reasoning, again we'll do a mixed practice. We'll not just do one particular type of question or one particular type of topic. We'll be doing 5 coding decoding, then 5 blood relations, 2 sets of arrangements and puzzles, 10 verbal reasoning questions, 5 questions on clocks, calendars, analogies, series, and odd one out. So again, you can take a screenshot of your daily study plan and make sure that you are doing each and everything accordingly. Obviously, you can change the number of questions which you are practicing based on your strength and weakness for a particular section. So if you think that your quants is weaker than your verbal ability section, then what you can do is actually do 50 questions of quants, and maybe you just do 5 questions of grammar and 3 questions of parajumbles. All the best for your exam. I hope you found this video informative. If you did, please like the video. If you have any more queries regarding IPMAT Rohtak, you can drop your comment under this video and the team will get back to you with all the correct answers. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to our channel so that you're constantly updated with such informative videos. All the best, go and ace this particular test.